Mornings, everyone. Happy Sundays. Can hear me? Yep. Right. Okay. First of all, I think thanks for DHM for inviting to share today. I'm not sure whether today I'm going to share in English or Mandarin, but anyway, try my best level to be multiple language. Right. Now, today was very special because was in KL, Klang Valley here. We were under the MCO where we were still work from home. Most of us currently were still under lot of restrictions. So I take this opportunity to since March of MCO also seldom do FB live. This opportunity also, I believe a lot of friends actually are staying at home. So then we would like to share to some of our friends, hopefully can get you some ideas. Now, without further delay, let me jump to my slide here. Give me a second. Right. Okay. Okay, cool. So let me briefly introduce about myself. Right. I'm Ivan Chong, the founder of WIDEBED, and I graduated actually as a mechanical engineer, year 2003. Then started my real estate business in year 2006. And 2011, so I founded this KL short stay brand. And at the same time, at year 2016, so I set up this WIDEBED group. And year 2017, luckily, and got this award from JCI on the Creative Young Entrepreneur Awards. Then on year 2018, so we set up another holding OS Property Group and went to China, Xiamen to joining this route accelerator startup program, and we also luckily able to get it finalist of top 15. And year 2019, we set up a co-working place in KLCC. Right, this is something about myself. Now, without further delay, let's start about the topic of today. Now, today I'm going to share to you guys. I'm sure my topic was sharing about on the let me see, on properties. And especially today, I'm sure that a lot of people were having problems, especially market is not doing good, and especially restrictions of travelers. So that's where I'll share to you some of the humble experience for the past 10 over years about actually on the rental market. Because now we have a big issue, especially oversupply in certain areas. How do we get property rental quickly rented out? So I'll cover about 3 topics here, about from current challenges and also some new normals and trend. Then some of the 5 strategies which we have been working into these 5 areas to give you some ideas. Now let's move to our first part. Okay. Okay. So the challenges in property rental market. The current market basically, the first issue that we are facing is really supply and demand issue. Now, I think recently Bank Negara Malaysia also announced, I think it was about 2 weeks back. If you all notice this oversupply in Malaysia, we call it overhang properties, was about 170,000 of property that are overhang in Malaysia. Now, this was actually very serious numbers, and this is purely for overhang, and we do not have actual figure numbers of how about on property that are completed empty, can't rent out. I mean, we couldn't get this actual figure, but I am sure the number is going to be a huge number as well. Now, supply demand issue were causing what? So as the property owners, we might have problems of how do we rent out because of there's so much of supply. This is one challenges. Now, next thing was actually many people have difficulty to pay deposit because market is not good financially in terms of they are affected by the pay cuts and business also affected. So we were in the past year, we realized that a lot of tenants when come to wanted to rent a place, they have problem in terms of pay deposit. Usually, generally, most of the owners are looking for what 2.5 month deposit. And imagine if the property rental was 2,000, they're going to pay you upfront, which is 2 month deposit, which is 4,000, plus utility, which what half month is 1,000, and advance rental. So imagine a 2,000 rental property will costing you what 3.5 month total cash they have to pay you. So that was actually out of 10 prospects that went to rent a property, we realized today more than half of them actually have a difficulty to pay you deposit. So because of that, the owner also stuck in between, couldn't actually proceed with that prospect. The third thing was actually due to uncertainty. Now, many tenants do not confident to commit traditional yearly contract. Why? Because of, you see, they also actually are in the between of, I'm not sure whether I'm going to continue in my work, current work, whether for 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. It could be after 3 or 6 months, actually company will do retrenchment. And basically the current situation will keep, there's too much of changes. So prospects do not actually familiar. And they do not sure what's going to happen the day after tomorrow, next month, and next year. But where else, most of the owners are what basically looking into minimum 1 year contract. We did actually check with our property agents, and we're asking them how many percentage when you receive a call, people basically are looking into short term. And the answer that we received from property agent was talking about what 30% asking the agents that, hey, can you check with owners whether owner consider to give me a short contract like a 6 month or short lower than 6 months. And what happened was usually owners what they will reject. No, I prefer minimum 1 year because of they want hassle free. Now there was also the challenges in current market. Owner mindset was still in the previous where they need 1 year. Now this is some challenges in current rental markets. Now next one. So what was the new normal and trend? We call it in Chinese 新常态. Now a lot of people actually are these 6 months talking about this new normal. Now first thing was actually very important. You have to be very cautious and alert about this thing, which is called safe and clean. As a property owners, you make sure that your property always are sanitized and clean. Imagine you and me are tenant or prospect. Before you move into the property, we also actually worried who are the people who stay there previously. Is it a place clean, safe, and sanitized? So it is important that always to make sure that your property is always actually so telling prospect and tenants you do clean, sanitize, and this keyword is always important in your marketing, whether you are doing yourself, you're getting agent to do, right? Now, the second new normal and trend, we, of course, everyone, including myself today, so we work from home. And so where work from home, what are the opportunities? And a lot of people basically today they come to us looking for places whether they can rent for a temporary for work from home because they do not want to travel, you see, for safety reasons and purpose. That's why they would like to stay from home and make sure and prospect rent from your place. You are able to give the basics, fast Wi-Fi, a working test. Now, this is also something that very important as a owners. You need to know the trend. Now, last, I realized another new words today share to all your friends here was actually workation. Last 1 to 2 years, if you're going to Google checks, there's a new what's called staycation, which is a lot of people actually searching Google in these words, staycation. But however, and we foresee another word, we call it workation. Workation actually is a combination from work and vacation. So they put it short like workation. What I mean by workation is a lot of people basically, they have been actually stay at home for so long. So what would they like basically is to, hopefully they can go for a place where more relaxed kind of resort style concept, and they stay there for a week up to a month or perhaps 3 months. during the restrictions movements period. So basically is to relax, kind of work plus actually vacation. Now this is some of the new normal and trend that you should know, and it helps you give you ideas. Okay, now next, understand the new normals and the trend. So how could homeowners counter to get property rented faster in this downturn market? Imagine this is the tough period. So what do you do? What can you do to prepare to get yourself ready? Okay, my next slide. Okay, first, follow the market and stay in touch with agents and property management to gain the market latest insight. Now, as an owner, it is very important that you need to follow the market, what was happening, and especially the market change every single day, every moment. We do not know what's going to happen for tomorrow, whether there'll be a new announcement by governments, things keep changes. You need to understand, right? Very convenient today. Google, basically, you can see every single thing. And other than actually Google's, which is your best friend, stay in touch with property agents, because like it or not, property agents, they spend 24/7. This is their jobs as a professionals. So they always follow about market. They understand what is happening, whether there are inquiry, the tenant actually are still looking into your place. You need to know. So always believe that make friend with property agents, and imagine there's very important secret tips here. If a condo say about 500 units, now every single owners once they got their key, a new property, let's assume. Now all 500 owners also wanted to rent out, am I right? But the question was actually, imagine the property agent who are specializing in that particular condo. You think, right? So which particular owners of property that the agent would like to put effort to push, to introduce to your prospect? Do you ever actually ask about this question to yourself? Now, so many owners at the same time also want to rent out. So the question, which units, which property the agent would like to, focusing to push it to the prospect? Now, that's why it is important. I can tell you, like it or not, it is actually, I always believe about relationship. And the agent or property agent definitely would like to work closely with the owner that are very supporting them in terms of actually closely regular communicate, very corporate, pass them a key, giving them a high commission, and etc. So this is also something that property owners should look into it, work closely with property agent rather than actually treat them like a sales agent. This is what I have. I realized actually some of the owner very ego, so they treat agents like a salesperson, and but rather actually you should actually work closely with them, make friend with them to get the first info. Example, you are still looking at 2,000. But you might not know that there are many of owners already let go at 1,500. So it's mean your rental 2,000 couldn't work. You can't rent out. So this kind of information, you need to work closely with agent. Agent will tell you what was happening in market, right? So hopefully, rule number 1, follow market, stay in touch. Okay, next we go for rule number 2, or call it strategy number 2. Understand the tenant needs and challenges, provide flexibility and convenience for them. Now, example, like just now we did mention, the current market prospect or tenant, because of what they didn't actually pay you a big amount of deposit. Now, because of uncertain financially and etc. And where else owner are still in the traditional mindset, looking into 2.5 month deposit and etc. And the tenant couldn't pay you. So you need to consider seriously about this flexibility, where it could be go for installment basis, lower down your deposit, right? This is on top of deposit. Now the other part, which is actually contract, and you need to seriously consider this as well, right? They might only able to commit you for 3 months or 6 months. To me, why not? So if the tenant was actually they have strong document profile, and I'm okay to 3 to 6 months as long as someone try to pay me and occupy, do not let the property vacant, right? So this is something that flexibility as owners, you need to be flexi. Right. Next we go for rule number 3. Decorate and stage your home to help rent faster. I still remember very well was year 2007 or 2008 when I was traveling to I traveled to Taiwan. A lot of colleagues, partner of us, actually we love Taiwan very much, and we do have a lot of friends in Taiwan where they are doing in a homestay, Airbnb, and a property management business. We always actually visit Taiwan actually to learn from them while we are traveling. What actually I realized was this was actually a big wake up call to me 10 years plus ago. I don't know whether you agree with me as a property owners. Those days we were those days when during my time, right? If you were the same generation, when we are starting and we rent a properties, usually we rent kind of room basis. So one apartment condo consists of, let's say, 3 or 4 rooms. Then we are sharing, right? We call it room renter, the model. Then what we need basically is to hopefully the owner can provide us all the basic kitchen, aircon, heater, etc. That was those days, as long as a property with decent furniture, basic kitchen set, that's okay. Now that was 10 years plus ago. Then today, in Malaysia, if your property is still vacant, you expect your basic kitchen cabinets, aircon, heater, then your tenant would immediately rent from you, then you're wrong. Fully furnished is already a very basic, as a property owner, you need to provide, right? So that will actually evolve already, right? From vacant to be full furnished. So no furniture, sorry, you're out, right? Now, that was the current market. But however, do you know that just like I mentioned when I was in Taiwan, because of competitive in the market, and prospect basically no longer actually look for so-called fully furnished. Rather than fully furnished, they're looking for theme, right? A thematic concept. And those friends who Malaysian, a lot of friends actually love to travel to Taiwan. I'm sure you agree with me. There's a lot of thematic boutique, whether homestay and hotel, and doing very well. And each of the room actually has different theme. This is also I have been sharing to a lot of friends in Malaysia for the past 3 years. I think since 2016, when I was actually sharing in some of the events that I talked to all the audience and friends, saying that the next 3 to 5 years, it will be team and also concept will decide your property, how soon, how fast you can rent out. Because the question to us is that, first question was, who is our prospect tenant? Firstly, ask ourselves, and I'm sure that we agree most of the prospect tenant coming from where? They are the young generation. When we talk about young generation, it could be millennials or whatever. If the young generation, they're not looking purely for fully furnished, as simple as that. They're looking for a place, hopefully nicely decorated concept and theme, right? So that they would love to stay in the environment, especially now. Guess why? Work from home, right? So you hope your home also like a cafe, nice working environment, because you spend 24/7 today. So you make sure that as an owner, you have to actually spend a little bit budget, not necessarily going to be very expensive. If you're not familiar, work with ID, and I'm sure like, DHM here, they have a lot of professional would able to give you advice how to decorate, stage your home, so that the first impression from prospect, when they see your house, they will like it. Imagine, just like I mentioned about, say, 500 units of condo. So every single owners also put it in market for rent. Now, other than pricing, so if you go for pricing war, then you are finished. So everybody gonna pressing your pricing. The only place that actually make you unique, different from others, actually is this part. You got to decorate, make yourself different. Where tenant, they like it or not, this is the only unique to the team that I have in this building, rather than the rest, which is basic, simple, right? So hope this strategy number 3 give you some idea Okay. Now, number 4, point area specialist agent or professional management to maximize the rental income. And I still remember why actually we ventured into this business, property management, back then to 10 years ago. Simple because of I'm also like everyone here on the line as a property buyers. After we bought a property, especially for investment purpose, our objective basically is very simple. As an owner, I want quickly rent out, number 1. Number 2, I want maximum rental income. And then number 3, I want hassle-free. When tenant come to us, someone can help me taking care, maintenance, pay bill, and etc. So this is basically a typical what owner is looking for. And I appreciate the properties agent or property management company. Why? Because imagine they're in this business 24/7, so they deserve some time basically to the fees to help, as owner to rent out. And I still remember when I bought my house a long time ago, and I also actually appointing the property agents, and I appreciate them because why? They, fly here and there, run here and there to help me negotiate with all the owners and bargaining, got me a good deals, get this freebie, etc. And imagine if without them, I can't be actually staying at the current house until today. Please actually appreciate this professionalism and treat them like a friend, work closely with them. Now, in terms of actually professional management, not only purely on property agents, you must be actually understanding market. Those days we have property agent, then we have this Airbnb management. What I mean by Airbnb management is basically it's no longer a new thing, right? For the past 3-4 years, Airbnb management is very popular in market. Every owners leverage Airbnb platform to rent out your property. And if you can't rent out for long term, then you go for short term. Simple as that, right? Short term means like day to day, right? But however, you have to understand the current situation, right? A lot of owners, the developer, they contacted us. They always thought that Airbnb is equal like a Panadol. So please don't have this wrong mindset. Not necessarily short term can give you a high ROI rentals. It's very much depending on location and the property itself. I still remember there's one time in a Star Property event when I was doing a sharing earlier. There's one owner actually came to me, say, "Hey, Ivan, currently I have a tenant who are renting for 2-3 years. No problem, but it's just the rental was too low, and I'm looking into terminate that and turn into a short term like Airbnb." So you know what? My first question to them is that very direct, that do the tenant have problem to paying you a rental or not? Bring you problem, delaying, etc. So basically they say actually no. So what I'm telling to these owners, I saying that please, and the market was not so easy and so good to get a tenant who rent for your place for 3 years without bring your problem. Although the rental is not the highest renter. So the message I'm trying to tell this owner was actually, please, the mindset, don't always confusing that, right? So too greedy, turn to short term. Short term means better renter, not necessary, right? Professional management like Airbnb, you also need to look into that. So not necessary Airbnb equal to long term. And also very important that I was just attending for the ITP, the worldwide actually a big travels conference from Singapore, but this round was doing on the virtual online. And there's some of the information that I can share to you. And in terms of short term, which is called tourism market in Malaysia, Airbnb market was totally standstill. And like it or not, Malaysia very much depending on international tourism in terms of the spending power. And if you still think of Airbnb is the Panadol, that sorry that you're from. Generally, we only can do cuti Malaysia, which is relying on local traveler. In that case, and you can Google check booking Airbnb, you will realize the ADR, average room rate, are very, very low. I can tell you generally 100 ringgit and below. And the occupancy, according to all this information they can see from Google, was generally 30, 25, 40% occupancy, depending on location. That is mathematics. If you take 100 bucks times 30% means like what? 100 times 10 nights was what? 1,000 ringgit. So this is gross rental income. I mean, just some calculation for your knowledge. It's 1,000 is only a gross rental, yet to deduct the professional management company. So you will realize that after deducting your fees, which usually like 20, 30, 40%, so probably you get back about a few hundred ringgit. Am I right? If you get me about a few hundred ringgit, so the question to you, that do you think Airbnb, the current market, still actually help you to solve the problem? Then you know the answer. Must actually I go for long term, I get a better, a lower rental to my prospect, right? So this is something that you need to look whether long and short term, not necessarily short term better than long term, right? Now, other than long and short term, there's also a lot of concept in market that you need to know. You check with all these specialists and professionals, then they will tell you what are the solution. Examples like what they call it, room renters, co-living concept was also very famous, which currently, I mean, as a WIDEBED, we also help a lot of owners and developers turn into the co-living concept. There's also another new model that as an owner, you should know what was happening in market, right? Next, we go for number 5, strategic 5. Use multiple online rental platform and models to and 360 virtual tours to speed up the rent. As an owner, you need to understand there are so much actually online rental platform. You can. I mean, sure you can Google today. There's so much of platform, not purely for property agents, B2C. There's also C2C platform you can utilize, and there are many platform very innovative way that you can use actually leverage to advertise by yourself. And rather than actually other than agent, you can do it by yourself to post it to the platform and handle by yourself. And some of the platform which doing well these 2 years because of what they don't actually collect deposit. Actually, they disrupt the traditional way of collect deposit. That's why it makes actually a lot of transaction, right? Model means basically just I mentioned, short term, long term, Airbnb, co-livings, and etc. So you can use different models to maximizing. Example model, work from home is also a new concept. Everybody looking for a place for short term, 1 month to work from home. So look into that direction, that will help you give your ideas. 360 degrees virtual tour is also important, where everybody actually scared of traveling physically to go there and show your prospect. So in that case, please leverage this virtual tour. There's so much of solution. We also help owners to do some shooting during for these past 6 months. And in the past, all the viewing was actually done by virtual tour. And I realized a lot of agents, pity for them in Klang Valley, KL here. A lot of agents basically, they are struggling. You know why? They want sales, they want business, but however, they have viewing. The moment you go for viewing, then you risk yourself. Go to the condo, take a lift, and going up, which you put yourself in risk, where every day you see there are so much of cases happen in condo to condo. So that's why I'm strongly advising that the agents and property owners leverage this virtual tour. Take some virtual tour is the actual shooting from the actual properties, and you can see is as it is, right? You don't have to be physically be there, right? So everything by virtual tour today. Please leverage it. We have been using virtual tour for the past 2 years, right? We help owner to to do shooting and put it the tour into the website and social media, right? Leverage this, and it helps you speed up the rent process. Okay, so up to this, I have shared about 5 strategies, and hope these 5 strategies and tips give you some ideas on how to get your property rented ASAP. Now, so some takeaway. ideas actually to the friend that online today. Now forget about the past demand predictions. Why I say so? From now, I think the mindset have to change. As a owners, you can't, live in the past. You're telling your prospect and agent saying, "Hey, my properties I bought 1 million. No way. I need rental 4 or 5,000 and things like that, right? If you insist, it is okay. It is your choice and decision that you make. So people couldn't pay you for 4 to 5,000. You continue going to be empty for a year or 2 years, right? Going to be based on the current demand, the current financial issue. People do not wish able to pay you high rental, do not able to commit you 1 year. This is how the actual situation in market. You have to, based on this demand, you got to change your strategy. Forget about the past. Yes, you used to actually collecting 4 to 5,000 rental, but currently could be 3 to 4,000. So you got to change rather than tells your agent, hey, below 4,000, don't call me. Things like that, right? So change your mindset. Number two, quick adaptation to change. There's a lot of things has been changing in today's. I think as owners, you got to be changed fast. I take examples like we helping. As a WIDEBED, we help owners to actually rent it out, whether long to short term. And I still remember starting from somewhere about March MCO, upon announcement of the MCO, and there's a lot of owners basically. We tell them to change the strategy, and they say, what kind of strategy? I say short contract, number one. Number two, lower down the traditional deposit 2.5 months. You know what happened? There's always actually a few kind of owners. So the first kind of owner basically, no, right? So okay, then we will put them on waiting list or so called. And the other second kind of owner say, let me think about first. So okay. So basically, our team also put this owner in another category. Now, the other type of owner basically are very fast at that. They tell us, fair as long as she handle all these scenario of in case they don't pay damages, how the insurance covering, all these things cater, okay, right, we okay to go ahead. So what we do, we help this group of owners actually turn the property into long term. I think since March of MCO until today was about 6 months. We actually help a lot of owners turn into long term. And until today was 6 months, they're collecting a rental income. But do you know that, just like I mentioned on the second group of owners, property owners, what happening after 3 to 6 months, they came back to us, hey, after you told us about the long term, short contract, low deposit, and now how was it? Do you have prospect inquiry? So what we do basically is to, again, we help them to put into the inquiry list. Imagine that owners was actually collecting rental for the 6 months, while this owner now only they wake up. So what I'm trying to tell as a property owners, quick adapt to changes. It is actually you have to change. It's not about the market changing, then you play your own games, right? Okay. Last but not least, the takeaway tips for the friends online today is actually those property owners, if you're on the line today, you have current tenant who are renting with you, still paying you a renter, please engage and retain your existing tenant. And while market is not easy to find a good tenant, but a lot of actually owners were so, what do you call it, optimistic, and they do not actually engaging tenant, and tenant actually have moved out to other place. We do have a painful cases here. One of the owners, you know what happened was they have a tenant which is foreigner, couldn't travel to back to country since MCO March. Then they are renting a condos in KL. The market was basically about 2,000 plus, but the foreigner paying them 3,000 plus, which is higher than market. Now what happening was the March until last month, September, the owner basically was very happy because why? People are still suffering on rental. The owner was actually getting a good rental income. So they thought was, well, nothing happened, as it is. So for the past 6 months, he's actually enjoying the good rental. Now, end of last month, the tenant give a short notice, kind of bomb to the owners, telling, because it was actually short contract, you see, for 6 months, and the tenant telling, hey, sorry, Mr. Owners, I have to move out from your place. And of course, the owner is trying to retain the tenant, but what happening was actually has too late. You know what? Because your contract is end, the tenant has found other places which is better condition, better furniture, better design, and even lower rental, and have paid a deposit to that location, that property. Now property empty for 1 month. So what does this really cases telling you today? You think that it's easy to retain, to find a tenant again for such good payment, good rental tenant? Not easy. So that's why it is important that you engage. So until the day when he call you, then you know what's happening. So owner, sorry, I'm child ready. Bye bye. So engage them, make sure they are happy, they are okay, there's no problem, the intention to continue. And this is something that I realize in current market is all about relocation. We are the foreigners. So my friend, there's no foreigner coming to Malaysia. There's no expatriate coming to Malaysia. So you like it or not, it is only within the circle, the tenant move here and there. So it's all about relocation. So tenant move around. So it's either you retain or your tenant move to other owners. That's it, finish. So right, hope this actually gives some idea about takeaway tips. Okay, with that, I end my slide here. So I'm Ivan, and this is my contact and email. Generally, so what we do is actually we help owners, property owners and developers to maximizing their rental income, whether from short term, tenant management is more for the long term. We help them taking care to Z for long term, rentals collection, etc. Core living is a special concept that we built for the community, sharing community concept. Digital marketing, basically we help owners, developers actually on marketing, online marketing to advertising, reach audience and tenant. As far as property investment, we keep looking for, good invest property for our clients, especially from the current market. There are good deals in market, right? So with that, I think I'll end my slide here, and hopefully today these sharings were able to give you some idea, perhaps helping you to get your property quickly rented out. So please look for us and also visit our website, widebed.com. Click for the get started. Then if you need any help, our team will try best actually to contact you as ASAP. Right? Last, stay safe and take care. Right? Bye.